Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever felt totally frustrated trying to teach using AI, you are going to want to hear this. Today we're diving into a really fascinating commentary by Dr. Avinash Kumar Gupta on the Vi-Brown's framework, and it completely shifts how we approach the whole concept. Instead of endlessly evaluating the underlying AI models themselves, we actually need to start evaluating the pedagogical architecture wrapped around them. It's a completely different and, honestly, a much better way to look at teaching with technology.
So we hear this question constantly in medical education, right? Is this AI tool actually good, or does it even help? But as the source material points out, that's actually a deeply flawed question. The problem is it lumps two entirely different things into one single judgment. It conflates the underlying model's raw competence with the specific instructions that are shaping its behavior in that exact moment. And when we do that, we kind of miss the actual teaching mechanism entirely.
The crucial takeaway here is that we really shouldn't just judge the AI model's baseline intelligence. We absolutely must evaluate the prompt architecture. So what does that actually mean? Well, it means looking at the personas, the behavioral constraints, the module sequencing. These are the specific elements that determine if an AI is just going to act like a generic, eager answer machine, or if it transforms into a true Socratic attending that genuinely challenges the learner.
Here's our blueprint for today. We're going to start by rethinking AI evaluation, then step through Stage 3 Socratic learning, into guided discovery, secondary research, take a look at the CCOCO architecture, and wrap up with some practical educator recommendations. Let's jump in.
All right, Section 1, Rethinking AI Evaluation. It is time to move past the eager intern phase.
You see, the fundamental problem with naive chat sessions is that if you just ask a general-purpose AI a clinical question, it behaves exactly like an overeager first-year student, just immediately handing over complete answers. The brilliant realization here is that the solution isn't waiting around for a better AI model. The solution is Vi-Brown's itself. It's a public, model-agnostic library released under a Creative Commons license. Basically, it's a collection of persona prompts and structured modules that you can literally paste directly into whatever you're already using, whether that's Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini. It just sits right on top of the model.
Moving on to Stage 3, Socratic learning. This is the micro level.
As the commentary describes it, this layer is the framework's home base. It's hands down the most turnkey entry point for any medical educator wanting to test this out. Just look at the sheer volume of behavioral guardrails designed specifically to withhold answers. You've got forced commitment first, meaning the AI won't even give a hint until the learner actually answers. There's a minimum effort threshold, so if a learner just lazily types "I don't know," the AI redirects them rather than rewarding them with the answer. It uses tiered hints, but never gives away the full answer upfront until the learner genuinely attempts the problem. It's brilliant.
And getting this running is unbelievably simple. Using tools like CaseBench Lite or LevelBench, an educator can instantly launch a highly controlled teaching session. You just paste in a persona prompt, like your Socratic attending, pair it with a case, and boom, you have access to an adjustable 6-level difficulty ladder. You can scale it all the way from a self-directed early clerkship study session right up to rigorous examination-style interactions.
Zooming out a bit, we enter Stage 4, Guided Discovery. We're at the meso level now.
Here, the framework transitions from just a single Socratic persona into a heavily scaffolded, multi-module exploration of a clinical case. Think of it this way. Educators are getting a genuine curricular dial to adjust the depth of exploration. You have modules that apply a single cognitive lens, agents that orchestrate multiple modules, and pipelines that create explicit, ordered sequences. You aren't just stuck crossing your fingers with whatever the prompt randomly generates. You are deliberately choosing the depth of the session. The creators actually describe this as functioning like an MRI for clinical thinking, which is just a perfect analogy.
When you run one of these pipelines, it walks a clinical case through a rigorous 6-stage discovery journey. So instead of the default AI behavior of just answering, "Hey, what's the diagnosis?" this guided discovery actively pursues the question, how does clinical thinking actually move from uncertainty to understanding? It literally forces the learner through observation, pattern recognition, all the way to metacognitive reflection.
Zooming out once more, we reach Stage 5, Secondary research, the macro level.
Now, here is where the bar really moves. That exact same prompt architecture we were just talking about, it's redirected away from a single patient case and aimed at an entire body of published medical literature. To actually clear the high bar for what we'd call research, the framework adopts evidence mapping. It's a specific genre sitting just one rung below a formal systematic review.
It synthesizes published literature across evidence tiers, like case reports versus observational data versus RCTs, but crucially, it does this without silently pooling tiers together that scientifically shouldn't be pooled.
The commentary tests this using an anti-snake venom mortality benefit case study. And honestly, it's a massive aha moment for educators. When the AI maps the evidence, it shows that randomized controlled trial evidence for mortality benefit is just missing. But it teaches learners to distinguish exactly why it's missing. Is it absent because nobody bothered to look? Or is it absent because it would be wildly unethical to withhold life-saving antivenom for a control group? The mortality signal lives in the observational data for ethical reasons. It's just a fantastic conversational way to illustrate evidence-based medicine without just reading it from a textbook.
So let's look at Section 5, CCOS Architecture, the engine underneath it all.
What is the architectural engine that actually connects a tiny micro-Socratic interaction all the way up to a broad macro-literature synthesis? It's the Clinical Cognition Operating System, or CCOS. And what's really vital for educators to grasp here is its specific trust layer. This trust layer is an instruction shaping exactly how the AI expresses uncertainty. It suppresses false numerical precision, so instead of hallucinating and claiming 13.7% mortality, it calibrates its confidence and simply says, mortality appears moderate. It is a communication safeguard, actually, not an external fact-checker bouncing claims off some hidden database.
Plus, crucially, every single module in this system runs this exact same three-phase life cycle: initiation, execution, and closure. This means a learning session never just abruptly stops once a differential is reached. It always closes with a structured debrief and usually a difficulty ratchet recommendation for the learner's next session. That ensures continuous, smooth pedagogical momentum.
Bringing it to our final section, educator recommendations, how to actually adopt the framework. As we look at how to implement this into a curriculum, we have to look at the framework's own, very honest self-assessment regarding its current maturity. The rating is based on how long a mechanism has been tested against real cases and real learners. Stage 3, the Socratic learning, is rated high maturity, live deployments, ready to go. Stage 4 and 5 research tools are medium. They have defined workflows but still need multi-case validation. So for educators, this means you can deploy Stage 3 confidently today, while treating Stage 5 more as a draft that needs to be manually verified against primary literature. But actually, the commentary turns those Stage 5 limitations into a massive feature. For secondary research training, say in a journal club, educators should hand learners this exact limitations checklist before they run their own AI syntheses. Getting them to ask questions like, was the extraction independently verified, or are the evidence tiers kept separate, actively teaches them incredibly vital critical appraisal skills.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this one critical question. We have to shift our perspective entirely from testing a chatbot's clinical accuracy to assessing a true pedagogical scaffold. Are we just grading the AI, or are we evaluating the rigor of the cognitive workout it's providing the medical student? Always remember that the outputs from this framework are solely learning artifacts. They are not clinical decisions, and they are definitely not citable research findings on their own. But they do show us that when we evaluate the prompt architecture rather than just the model, we unlock a deeply powerful new teaching modality. Think about it. If we stop merely evaluating the AI and start evaluating the pedagogical architecture shaping it, what limits in medical education can we push next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.